Welcome back to another Senate meeting. This is the 21st one. We got about 5-ish left, so hopefully we can hang in there. Can I get a motion to start the meeting?
Motion to start the meeting.
Any seconds?
Second.
All those in favor of starting the meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Okay, meeting has begun. We are going to hop over to our fancy new technology to do our attendance. Are you present? Remember, you have to hit the number and then hit the check mark. So.
Okay. Just press the number.
See if we can get you 20 out.
I can't be absent.
Wait, why is it 20?
It's okay.
Oh, wait, that is your question. Should it be out of 28?
No, it should be 20 plus 4. No, but they have to be.
No, I saw
It was at 20.
They wouldn't have to.
Everyone put your attendance in yet? Are we waiting for anyone?
Point of order. Ryan has a point. Does the exec have clickers?
No.
The exec still has to do their presence by roll call.
Oh, that is a fair point.
That's fine.
It was a Kirsten call.
No, but no, I don't see it.
You don't have to do it.
We'll just do it. Anyone have any convening business? With no convening business, we'll move on to amendment and approval of the agenda. Does anyone have any amendments?
Motion to amend the agenda by adding the Black Coffee Statement Bill.
Any second? All those in favor of amending the agenda to add the Black Caucus tabling bill, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Any other amendments to the agenda?
Motion to add Hopthon tabling discussion to the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor of adding Hopthon tabling discussion to the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Any other amendments to the agenda?
Motion to add a funding bill for a portrait for a student memorial to the agenda.
Any seconds?
Second.
All those in favor of adding this bill to the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions?
Oh, wait, into second reading, if that's possible.
Into second, okay.
And then motion to add the Hopkins Got Talent presentation and funding bill to also to second reading.
Any seconds?
Second.
All those in favor of adding the funding bill for Got Talent?
Hopkins Got Talent.
Hopkins Got Talent, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Okay. Elena will be adding those in. But with that, anyone want to approve the agenda now?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Any seconds?
Second.
All those in favor of approving the agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. Any abstentions? Now we move on to public input. Wonderful members of the public, do you have any input? With no public input, we'll hop down to reports, beginning with executive branch reports. President Soldatelli could not make it, so she left us her updates. The Students for Environmental Action reached out to gauge SGA interest in co-sponsoring their sustainable fashion show, Planet Runway. Additionally, if you're interested in designing or modeling, message Brianna. Good luck campaigning to everyone running. Please reach out with any questions. And she's going to set a class president/committee chair meeting, so check Teams for scheduling that. With that are my updates. We are post Board of Trustees, which was super great, and now we're working on a lot of transitioning to the new year, making sure that everything and everyone will be caught up. And also, I've been working with Internal Affairs. Secretary Regier.
I went to the Board of Trustees meeting. I am making some sticker or maybe other merch designs, and we're finally figuring out the storefront and should probably have that live soon.
Okay. Up next is Treasurer Nicholson.
I met with the finance committee this Sunday. We approved a lot of event grant requests. I also met with Calvin at our exec meeting this Monday and shared with him a couple of changes that we made to the SAC guidelines that you guys will see next week. I also spoke with Elena since the sweaters from Lighting on the Quad was really since the sweaters from Lighting on the Quads were really popular, we're thinking about pushing a bill to get funding for that. And let me think, there was one more thing. Oh, Happy Blue Jay Tuesday, that's it.
Okay, Director Diaz?
Yeah, I'm still working on the website. I'm trying to figure out some accessibility options. I'm also trying to make the post for International Women's Day tomorrow on the social media. And I'm also working on board trustees, like reading, recap, just for transparency. And yeah.
Okay, with that we have class council reports, beginning with the senior class.
Yeah, so last week we met with the alumni office to discuss our plans for implementing our time capsule. So that's very exciting, and we are hoping to have it, or at least launch it by April 13th. So yeah, a lot of things going on with that, and of course we're still planning for our senior week.
Okay, junior class.
We're figuring out the logistics for our formal, so far, we wrote the contract and we're trying to figure out figuring in transportation.
Sophomore class?
Yeah, so let's see. We have the event report for the Multimedia Art Showcase today. We finished our garden party last Friday. And we're waiting for the pictures to get back before we produce an event report for that, as well as like various follow-ups to the class. We may have two potential smaller scale, like cost, like in the sense of cost events coming up, but those remain to be seen, depending on how much money we have left.
Freshman class?
Good evening, everyone. Last week we finalized our event, which again will be held this Friday. And once again, I'm calling you all to, if you can, please help us volunteer. Even 30 minutes will be fine. There'll be, great food and music, and we think it'll be really fun. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, with that we'll move on to committee reports, beginning with academic affairs.
So for us, we just changed our meeting dates to be starting this Thursday to be Thursdays at like 8. Since we've just been kind of struggling on finding a time that like worked for everyone. And we're also going to be planning to do some sort of coffee chat with the deans sometime soon, either through Zoom or at the Imagine Center. I think Dean Rowe has a really limited availability, but Dean Phelps said that he'll try to coordinate with us. And we're also going to be doing some sort of tabling before registration to get feedback for registration so that the deans can sort of make sure that they can, first of all, put the syllabuses for all the classes on the website accordingly before registration, and also to make sure that they have adequate seating, because there was a lot of humanities students who were pre-med felt like they didn't have enough seats for them, and they were having a hard time getting into those classes, so that has been a main focus for the deans right now.
Okay, from there we have our next committee, civic engagement.
Okay, I'll do an update. So we've been recently working on organizing a bake sale, which would go towards the relief efforts to Turkey and Syria. So yeah, I'm pretty sure Harvey's talking with some organization right now about that.
Health, safety, and sustainability.
We didn't have a meeting this week, but we're having a tabling event with Homewood Recycling next Friday from 11:30 to 1:30 outside of Jersey. So if you guys are free, it's a good chance for you to talk to people, especially about recycling.
Internal affairs.
We were supposed to meet with Jason Calgary from the Public Safety Office last week, but we had like a scheduling conflict. But hopefully that will happen this week, and then hopefully next week we'll have a funding bill for public safety. No, I talked about it a lot. Will hopefully be happening this week.
Internal affairs.
We passed the accessibility bill, which you will be seeing later today.
Up next we have student organizations.
So we finished meeting, or going to all the different GDMs to advertise SGA restructuring. So that finished, we were able to reach a lot of different student orgs, and I think it hopefully made a difference with all of our advertisement, with an increased amount of people running this year. I have a meeting set up with Charles next week regarding restructuring RSO re-registration and prospective work registration, just generally logistics for the form, and some other stipulations that the lead office has that we might want to change. But otherwise, there's not a lot of re-registrations, there's not a lot to do for student orgs this semester, but hopefully we will resume meeting next week synchronously Wednesdays at 6, I think, or whatever, say in Teams.
Last but not least, student services.
Hello, so we have now made 3 liaisons to housing, residential life, and the Sheridan Libraries. We also received an email from Dean Long in which we heard that she'd spoken to her staff and facilities director and seen enthusiasm for converting a room into a prayer room from all of them, and said that she would follow up with me when she had more details. I'm also attending the CSAC, or Cross-Institutional Student Advisory Committee meeting this Friday, so if you have any cross-institutional ideas, bring those to me.
Okay, we're on to caucus reports, beginning with the PETA caucus. Just the big celebration that we submitted our proposal to Vice Dean Roll, so it's just got to go through the systems now, and hopefully in a year you'll see our new major. Black caucus.
So we're just currently planning for our tabling event that's hopefully going to happen later this month, and we're hoping to pass the bill that's on the agenda today.
Disability caucus.
Nothing to report.
Fly caucus.
So I am working with Life Design Lab and CSS to spearhead what they call a career closet, and to spearhead kind of like a suit-up event where students have discount or free professional tire wear. So trying to get that started for next year.
Hispanic/Latinx caucus.
I'm still working on on another major proposal, and just working out how that would work, as well as still trying to figure out who is going to be the new chair/senator for the Latinx caucus.
WGNC.
Nothing to report.
And we have our advisor report.
I don't think I have anything to report.
With that, we'll move on to non-legislative business, beginning with the Multimedia Art Showcase report. Let's see if I can find it. Round of applause, everyone. Elena? It was. It blinked at me and then it's turned off. Can I give a little speech while we wait?
No, but I start. I mean, the visual component is really there. Yeah, we just.
To never trust technology.
Yeah, I can start talking, I guess. Yeah, sure. So you all have heard about this for a few weeks in a row now, but the Multimedia Art Showcase was just an effort by our class council to highlight some of our visual artists. So what we did was we basically emailed out with this art showcase to the class, accompanied with like various social media coaches, and then we ended up leaving it up to a vote by students. So then we ended up by likes. We had a first, second, third, and an honorable mention. There were a total of, I think, 214 votes cast as of the writing of this report or something like that. But I think the main thing we'll keep in mind for future iterations is to leave more time for submissions. And maybe advertise more, just to, encourage participation on the income. As far as expenditures go, everything was from our stock from previously. So it's Hispanic plushie, 2 mediums, and a teddy bear. I was hoping to showcase the winners.
Just plug it up.
Yeah. So we had these four. I mean,
Tell us the
both, I guess. They're all very nice.
Yeah.
That's all from me.
Yeah. Anyone want to make any motions to discuss, or we can just move on? Hearing no motions, up next we will have our crab feast presentation from Phi Delta at President Cho's invitation. Okay. Yeah, we have, keep them all. They're just 2 years. You have a presentation, right? Yes. That sounds good. Thanks. That was right. Yeah, I don't think it's that anymore. I knew you should push off the next scene. Oh, do you guys just want to talk about it a little bit while we're... Oh, yeah, we can get better. Guys. Okay, guys, thanks for having us. I'm Derek. I'm the philanthropy chair at Phi Delta Theta. Hi, everyone. I'm Clemens. I'm the vice philanthropy chair at Phi Delta Theta. Yeah, and this week we kind of just want to introduce you guys, like, what our idea is and, like, what planning has been involved already about our philanthropy event for this semester, which is going to be shown on the presentation once it loads. So for now, I'll let you guys get a little sneak peek. It's called Crab Fest. And it's basically like a crab festival where we have multiple vendors from local Baltimore restaurants come to Hopkins and basically like let students try different crab dishes that kind of represent Maryland. And basically this is like our philanthropy event that's gonna be like an annual philanthropy event. Hopefully, like we know Fiji has Fiji Islander, Phi Sci 500, and we kind of just want to kind of make this our signature event. And this isn't just something out of the blue. We have done this in the past before COVID, so before most of our times, I think. So we kind of just want to bring this back to like the Hopkins community. And yeah, so we have more on our slides, but for now, I'll just go off the top of my head. So like, who are we? So Phi Delta Theta has a long and rich history of philanthropy and community service. So right now, our philanthropy mission is actually help ALS community. So we have our own charity, which is called Live Like Lou. And Live Like Lou is basically a charity that supports ALS because, as many of you guys may know, Lou Gehrig was a famous baseball player who actually had ALS, which ultimately robbed him of his life and his career. So this charity by Phi Delta is a charity where all the proceeds go to more ALS research, more ALS awareness, and helping ALS families. For instance, one of our biggest missions is we actually serve local ALS families in the community across the nation. Local Phi Delta chapters will go out, find the ALS impacted family in their community and kind of help them by like, mowing the lawn or helping them buy their groceries. Like these small things like that. And as you can see up on the slide, which basically loaded, currently, we were founded in 2018, and we have already raised $4 million for ALS, and the state of Tennessee, the governor, actually heard of our campaign and actually pledged another $1 million recently. So right now, we're sitting at like $5 million reached, but we don't want to stop there because obviously, ALS is a disease that impacts many different families nationwide, and we kind of want to keep tackling this disease until we find a cure because as of right now, there is no cure. So
this is kind of like what our philanthropy is trying to help and trying to like serve.
Moving on to the next slide, why specifically Crab Feast or Crab Fest, sorry. So in addition to Baltimore having their own Crab Fest, that being a pretty common thing that I'm sure there's a few of us are somewhat familiar with, and also the fact that generally speaking, a lot of people do like eating crab. Crab Fest is something that's happened at Hopkins for many years in the past. Before COVID, like Derek was saying earlier, 4 years in a row, Hopkins actually hosted a Crab Fest through Phi Delta Theta. In addition to that, Washington College, also in Maryland, they've done it for the past 31 years. And most notably, in 2022, they actually raised $10,000 during that competition. I think it's rather impressive. Something that we also hope to emulate with our podcast. Additionally, we think it would be a really, really great way to engage the entire student body. Usually, events that are hosted kind of appeal to one group of students more so than another, but we believe that this is an event that all students will be able to come together for, that they will be able to be willing to donate towards flight tickets for, and hopefully enjoy the event. Additionally, another thing that I was saying earlier, we really want to up our impact that Phi Delta has in terms of community service and philanthropic events. Last semester, we actually hosted a block party once again. Thankful to Derek for most of that. But we were able to raise a good amount of money via that as well. And so we're hoping that with this event, we can take another step forward in this good direction that we believe in in raising more money for the Live Like Blue ADOS Foundation. And the last thing I want to note, which I did skip partially one of the bullets, is that this is actually a really, really great way to support small businesses and local vendors, given the fact that Baltimore is extremely thin to crab, and we would be going very far in order to actually cater for and help serve this event.
Yeah, so I'm sure you guys all want to hear like what we have planned so far, like the logistical side of things. So this event, like we didn't just start planning. We've been planning this since last semester, and currently, like what we've had done so far is, well, we've met with Calvin, the leader of FSL, and basically he is in complete support of this event. He actually offered to help us sign the contracts if we could obtain the contracts for these different local businesses. He even gave us a bunch of suggestions of his own, like these are crab houses that he and his family go to. He says they're really tasty. They'll give us good prices because it's for a philanthropy event. And he's willing to back us for this event, basically. And basically what we've done so far is we've actually reached out to every crab house you see on the slides, and we've actually negotiated with them to see what prices we can get. Because obviously, we don't want to waste money. We want to give the best quality of food at the lowest price. So we're kind of negotiating with all of these different restaurants to try to see where we can get the best and how we can make the best use of our money. Because at the end of the day, we don't want to spend a lot of money because we want to most of the money to be donated to our philanthropy organization. So currently our tentative dates are Alumni Weekend, which is a great way to raise money, as in that way we'll be able to appeal to the Hopkins community as well as the Alumni Association. So currently, Calvin has actually helped us reach out to the Alumni Association to see if we could actually get like a space reserved for that event, because currently the Alumni Association has like basically every space on Hopkins reserved for Alumni Weekend, but Calvin actually graciously reached out to them about our event. And if not, Calvin has also suggested April 21st, the next week, which is actually Greek weekend, and he said that he will be in full support of having this as a feature event at Greek weekend, so that in both cases, we can expect a high amount of people to attend. So as you guys can see, our expected attendance is around 150 to 200 people, and this is not just something that we made up. Like, Phi Delta by itself has 60 members, and most of them are willing to support this philanthropy event and support their brothers by coming to this event, as well as Washington College, which is where I got most of the planning information from, most of the logistical side of things from. We've actually contacted them, been in touch with them, and they're willing to come to our event as well. So that's an additional maybe 30 people. And the rest of the people hopefully will be from the Hopkins community itself, as this is like actually a great way to represent Maryland to people outside of Maryland. Most people outside Maryland haven't gone to a crab fest. And as Clement said earlier, Baltimore has its own crab fest, and this is kind of a small representation of crab fest, the big one in Baltimore, so that students at Hopkins can have their own little taste of it, like own little like slice of what Maryland is about. And basically, if you guys can, I know you guys all see the $6,000 requested funding, and you guys are like, wow, this is a insanely steep number. So this number is actually from all the numbers I've drawn up. So basically, right now, we don't have a set number, a set price for what we need to fund this event, because obviously we're still negotiating between all these different restaurants to try to see what the best price is. But obviously, like, crab is a very expensive dish. Like, a bushel of crabs is $325. Like, that is kind of the price that most of these restaurants are giving me. And obviously, I could probably negotiate that down, but at the end of the day, having an event of this scale and of this quality will cost money, and we are coming to you guys so we can request this funding from, like, SGA, obviously. And $6,000, I know it sounds very ridiculous, but this will all be put to good use, as it will all be put to helping fund this event, which will, at the end of the day, help people in need, like people who are affected by ALS, fund ALS funding, and raise ALS awareness. So that's kind of the premise of why we're requesting this much money. And obviously, I know that you guys average around like maybe $1,000 per like donation to different organizations. So me personally, like, I'm not expecting you guys to be willing to give me this large amount of money. So at the end of the day, like, any amount is appreciated, and we will be able to work with whatever amount you guys are willing to like generously donate to us, and we will make the best use of that money to try to make the best event possible to try to serve the greatest amount of people.
And for the final slide, just a few extra ideas that we're thinking of as well. In addition to just having, the crab having the main portion of Crab Fest, for people that, don't necessarily want to, aren't inclined to eat crab, there are also other vendors we're talking for the negotiations was Illness Fine, different cuisine, things like that. And t-shirts are one of the largest things that both Fight Out in the past 4 years pre-pandemic and also Washington College in the past 31 years. These are some of the main things that they've also done as large sources of revenue. I guess this further just goes to show that the money will be going to the new so making a relatively large impact on the campus, hopefully, because I'm sure we all know students love getting merch, generally speaking. And so being able to hand out these t-shirts, being able to give these as well as actually host the event and what we're providing them with food and whatnot, we believe should make students more inclined to come, make students more inclined to donate to the charity, further help us have a really, really great event.
Yeah, so that kind of concludes our presentation to you guys. As I said before, this is kind of just like an introduction to what we're trying to do. We'll definitely try to get you guys more like concrete numbers as we continue to talk to these different vendors, these different restaurants, continue working with Calvin and Alumni Association. So right now, like, if you guys have any questions, I'd love to hear them. We'd love to answer them. So I'd like to open the floor now to you guys.
Can I get any motion?
Motion for a 10-minute Q&A with 1 minute speaking.
Second.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, please say nay. 10 minutes.
Thank you guys for bringing this idea to us. It sounds like a great philanthropy venture. I know you were talking about how there was going to be other food options. How would that look? Because we do also still need the funding for those food options. And another thing to bring to that point is for vegetarians. Obviously, the appeal of Maryland crab is probably low.
Yeah, no, we actually consider all those things, and we actually will not need additional funding for those extra additional food items, because in that $6,000, I've actually included around like $500 for other options, vegetarian options, and like simple things like burgers, sliders, fries, things like that, things that are cheaper. So the $6,000 already includes that type of funding, as crab is obviously the most expensive part of this. Like these are requested funds. So we have considered those options. We have like looked into restaurants and actually contacted restaurants that serve other options besides crabs.
Up next is Shalala.
Because that seems kind of small for like that. And also, like, do you plan it to be only open to like Hopkins student or the community?
Yeah, so the reason why we said 150 to 200 people in attendance is because in the events we hosted in the past, such as last semester, I had 3 philanthropy events actually. The block party, Kicking with the Kappa, and a fashion show. Each event we had around 100 to like 150 people in attendance, and this is primarily because like for this Crab Fest, obviously like we're gonna be serving crabs. People are gonna be able to eat crabs, eat different like other like food options, and this costs money. So we're estimating the ticket price to be around $35 to $40, which is a very steep price for Hawkins students, obviously. So I know this like price tag kind of will turn people away from this event. So I honestly hope there will be more attendance, but realistically speaking, I expect 150 to 200 people in attendance.
And regarding the second part of your question, as to if it's just for Hawkins students, no, we hopefully, if we do it during alumni weekend, we hope that lots of alumni, also lots of parents, lots of anyone else who would love to come, they will also be welcome to the event.
Exactly, yeah, thank you.
Up next is who? Jeff?
That is the thought, and then
Okay.
the question about taking us.
Elisa, yeah.
So it's like obviously that's it. Which is fine, like you're happy. But have you thought of maybe not okay, like crab is nice. I love her. But like shrimp, which is like significantly cheaper and might take off like the bulk of the crab. I get that your event's crab feed. I love it.
Yeah.
But money is tight.
Well, yeah, no, we definitely hear you guys. Like, money is tight across the board. Like, it's tight for us even too. So, like, we are including other options such as shrimp to kind of lower the price. $6,000, like the $6,000 I'm requesting, it's this steep because we're hoping to serve primarily crab, because at the end of the day, it is a crab fest, as they kind of introduce the Hawkins community to different dishes of crab cakes, crab balls, like whole crabs, all these different types of foods. And obviously, if the $6,000 aren't able to be obtained, obviously we will have to cut some corners, add some supplementary options. So yeah, we have considered those different options, and those are kind of in like our back pocket for now, because these restaurants that we're getting the crabs from, they also have other options, or cheaper options, that we can also purchase if we need to.
Like collabing, is it?
Right.
Other groups?
We actually haven't considered collaborating with other organizations, and the main reason for this is, like Clement said, we kind of want this to be our impact on the Hawkins community. We kind of want this to be our event. Like, we want this to be like a recognizable event from like this year forward for hopefully. Like in the past, like all our philanthropy events have kind of been like small philanthropy events where it's like this semester, if I'm philanthropy chair, I will do my events. Next semester, if he's philanthropy chair, he'll do his events. We kind of want to make this like a Phi staple and like kind of a household name among the Hawkins community.
Mufasa. Mufasa?
Oh, they are answering the question.
Okay. Jenny.
So like, I mentioned person that finds out like how it passed, like the people I find like, and how much did this event like typically cost before, and also how many people are in attendance?